What's up, guys? It's DJ Mykael V, and you are now watching Lazy Intellectuals.
Let's run it. Today I have with me a man with an absolutely insane resume. He was the DJ for Christian hip-hop artists such as Lecrae, No Big Deal, for guys like Dude Perfect and even Trey Kennedy. He's a member of the Christian hip-hop group called Indie Tribe, and he's also the mastermind and genius behind what I already consider classic albums, Bodega and Bodega 2.
Thank you,
DJ Mykael V.
Here.
Thank you so much for making the time.
Bro, thank you for having me here, yo. This is crazy. I feel like a celebrity. What's up? What's
Red
the
Carmen
tea?
treatment?
Nah, no, legit. Yo, your mom got me coffee. The house is great. I appreciate this.
Actually, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. The way that I found your music was pretty cool. So,
Okay, dope.
I have a Christian playlist, right? But
Okay.
it's the usual stuff I've been listening to over and over. The Lecrae, Andy Mineos, all that
Yeah.
stuff. And honestly, anytime I hear a new Christian rapper, I kind of skip because a lot of times it's corny, in my opinion. But then one day I just hear this song called Lay Low pop up. And I was like, who is this? And then I started going through your catalog and I started devouring everything. Switches, then Bodega 1.
Yeah.
And then that same weekend, we tapped in with each other.
Yeah.
And you were my first Christian concert I ever
Wow.
went to. You're my first concert in general I ever went to.
Praise God, bro. That's fine.
You know? And then you hooked it up with the tickets. It was a sold out show.
for sure,
I
bro.
appreciate that a lot. Me and my
Always,
brother
bro.
Thomas, we had a blast on it.
Tomas.
Yeah, so man, I appreciate you. But let's
Nah.
get right into the questions.
I'm happy you had fun, bro. For real.
Thank you, man. So you're from Brooklyn. You're actually from low income housing. At one point, your brother actually you slept on the ground of his apartment complex that he had.
Yeah.
Some nights when you guys were showering, you didn't even have hot water. You had to use buckets.
Yeah.
You know, so it's safe to say that you didn't come from a privileged household with a lot of opportunities at your door.
Not a lot.
And I don't want to just skim past these things in your life
Yeah.
as if they're just nothing, but I just want to set the stage for what we're about to discuss together.
No, for sure.
Shortly after high school, you had an opportunity to play football, full-time scholarship.
Yeah.
Then you actually wanted to be a DEA agent,
Yeah.
which is the complete opposite of music.
Facts.
You found a church that took you in, and they housed you, gave you food, clothed you.
Yeah.
It was a better position than you were in
100%.
than from when you came up in the streets of Brooklyn. But you got kicked out shortly after
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the whole relationship thing, they didn't allow relationships. After all of this, you ended up in Atlanta alone at 18 years old.
Yeah.
So now the stage is set. You become suicidal. Talk to me about your testimony. Talk to me how you found God in those moments, how he led you here.
Man, it's crazy you know all that stuff. That's great. You did your homework. I love it. So yeah, growing up, I didn't really go to church like that. I went to church. I had like kind of a grandmother. She did worship in the church. So I kind of was like Christian through my grandma. Like she would take me to church sometimes. Like, but I wouldn't say I grew up in church per se. Because there's friends that I grew up with and they're like, yo, I couldn't watch Pokemon. I couldn't watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's demonic. And I'm like, can't relate. Never experienced that in my life. Because it's just I didn't grow up like that. But yeah, grew up there. My grandmother meant the world to me, man. She raised me. My dad had me at 17, and my mom was a little bit older than my dad, so didn't really know how to be parents at the time. So most of the time they just leaned heavily on my grandmother a lot to help them out with me per se. So yeah, she was my life. Loved her very dearly. Went to high school. And I had a boy named Ricky who put me on a Christian hip hop. I wasn't Christian at the time, but he was a Christian rapper. And he was discipling me at the time to try to get me to come to Christ on my own in a way. Because, again, I wouldn't consider myself Christian. And if I did, it'd be just a regular, yeah, I believe in God type thing. Yeah, my grandmother was my world. And she had passed away, I think a month or two after I graduated.
So you were very young.
Yeah, I was like fresh out of high school, and she meant the world to me. So it was like I always just tell myself, yo, if she passes away, like it's over for me. Like I'll leave too. Like that's how much I loved her. So when she passed away, it was crazy. She passed away, and it was on the same day that I did my first ever Christian, like big Christian show with a Christian artist, and I remember calling her beforehand, and just like talking to her and stuff like that, and then getting home later that night and then finding out she passed away. So it was like bittersweet in the sense that I got to speak to her beforehand, but then also like really terrible afterwards. So that really sent me into a spiral. At the time I had gotten saved. My boy Ricky had helped me come to the Lord, but even then, after my confession of faith, I wasn't living according to the ways of Christ, obviously. So when my grandmother passed away, that was a real like bullet to the heart and like a kind of like a blast off for me faith wise. And I was just, man, I was really hurt, bro, really hurt. So when she passed away, uh, I was like lost. I felt really lost. So I was in Jersey. So in Jersey, I was there, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna move back to New York because I'm gonna be with my brother, which is sleeping on his floor and stuff like that. I'm gonna move back because I feel like, because she lived in New York. So if I move back to New York, I feel closer to my grandmother. It'll be a thing that makes sense. And when I moved there, like you said, I got brought into a church, and then when I was at that church, I remember being on top of a building, on the church building, on the roof, and I was there, and I was like, this is like probably the only time I ever thought about suicide, and it was just really being there, and I was thinking about how much I miss my grandmother and how much I felt lonely because my parents didn't know how to handle grief. My friends were there as much as they could be, but I was fresh out of high school, didn't really know God like that, was getting to know God. And I just felt hopeless. And I remember being on top of the roof, and I was like, kind of like really at the edge of the roof, and I was just like, yo, I could just jump right now. Damn. And I remember just being there, like kind of having like a 2-minute look down at the street.
And you were like, really contemplating?
Yeah, I was really like, all right, yo, like, is this the time, you know? Like, should I do this? And then I remember just backing up, and then there was like a chimney, like a little chimney on the top of the roof, and I remember just like sitting on the roof and put my back against it and kind of just crying out to God, just really like sad, and just not overall, obviously not doing it because I'm still here. But that moment was like one of my lowest moments in that time, because, like I said, my grandmother was my world, and the one person that I thought would be there through a lot of my life exited it the day that I kind of felt like my life was starting. But now that I'm older, bro, I feel like that happening has been the starter for my faith, like being able to wrestle with God in that way, being alone, being in a place where I really had, like moving to Atlanta after like getting kicked out of church and moving to Atlanta. I didn't have friends in Atlanta. All I had was my family. I didn't know anybody in Atlanta.
So how did you end up in Atlanta?
So when I got kicked out of the church, they were like, yo, you got to go. And I was like, I have nowhere to go because my brother's house was already full. Yeah. So I was like, I couldn't go nowhere. So I was like, what do you want me to do? I can't go nowhere. So they had called my parents, and they were like, yo, you got to buy him a ticket to where y'all are at because he got to get out of here.
Oh, so your family was in Atlanta at that point?
Yeah. So my parents had moved from Jersey. They moved from Jersey to Atlanta, and I moved from Jersey to New York.
I got you.
Yeah. So they were down there already a year beforehand, and the church was like, yo, if you don't buy him a ticket, like he got to go. And my parents were like, yo, we're broke. We can't buy him a plane ticket out here. So the church bought me a plane ticket.
Oh man, they wanted you gone.
Oh no, yeah, I was out, bro. Like I got kicked out. Like they made the decision, and then the same night they bought me a ticket to leave the next morning. And I was like, all right, cool, like let's get it. And I moved down there, and it was just very lonely, bro. Like I felt, but I now that I look back at it, I'm grateful for it because I think that was the time that like God was like allowing me to have my solitude with Him and really making my faith concrete.
Well, it's actually funny because then Atlanta is the hip hop Christian sphere of America, I'd say.
At that time, it was for sure. 1,000%.
But even now, with Reach Records being there, I think, right? That's the main headquarters.
In 2016, it was like, you think it's big now. 2016, way bigger.
Way bigger.
But there was I'm talking about every weekend, there was a Christian hip hop show. Like at a church, at like somewhere. Like there was something, a conference, there was something always going on in Atlanta every weekend involving Christian hip hop.
Why Atlanta? Just the culture?
Because that's where Reach
so they created the foundation of the movie.
Yeah, so gotcha. RMG, which is Derek Minor, Cannon, and all these people, 116 and Lecrae and all them, everybody lived in Atlanta at that time. So two of the biggest labels at the time were based out of Atlanta, and then proceeded to move to Nashville, which is RMG, and then 116 stayed in Atlanta. Gotcha. But it was like the peak of the 116 era, like people showing up to the 116 offices looking for Lecrae, like type stuff. It was like, because that's when like Anomaly came out, Uncomfortable, like KB's project, like Tomorrow We Live, like all that stuff, like that was happening all at that time. So it was like peak Christian golden era hip hop. The fans were there, people were there. It was like it was crazy. So I was there during that time.
Was there ever a thought that was happening in your mind? You're like, man, I had a scholarship to go into school full time. why don't I get a 9 to 5? Why don't I go to school, get a degree, do the typical lifestyle, and then pursue music at night when I got extra time? Did that ever go through your head? Why didn't you pursue that lifestyle?
I mean, you can agree. I mean, we're different types of minorities, but in a minority household, the thing is go to school, get an education, and being creative is like frowned upon, heavy, very heavy.
They don't get
so
it.
They don't get it. So I had that, but the crazy thing is I did work a 9 to 5 when I moved to Atlanta. I worked 2 jobs. I remember, no, 3 jobs. I worked 3 jobs, and it was while I was DJing. So I would work during the week, either request off or have the weekend off to do shows. So my first job was Walmart. I was working at Walmart for like 2 or 3 years. Like, no, not there, like a year and a half, 2 years. In the grocery, and I got fired from that job. Then I went from that job to doing forklift operation in a Toys R Us warehouse.
You're forklift certified?
Yo, come on, bro.
No way.
Come on, bro. Yes,
That's
legit.
crazy.
I got to re-up on my license, but yeah, I'm forklift certified, bro.
At Toys R Us too?
Bro,
That's
yeah.
my
So
childhood.
I'm talking about in the summer, I would be like, when trucks come into these places and you see the boxes stacked from the ceiling to the floor,
right, yeah.
I was stacking the boxes.
How old were you?
I was 20, 21.
Okay.
Yeah, 20,
So no
21.
schooling at this time. It was like
No schooling at all. All I had was half of a seminary degree, and that's it.
What I've heard that before. A lot of Christian rappers actually have seminary degrees.
Yeah. I don't have a full one. I have
So
half one.
what is it? Just like understanding theology at a full extent?
Yeah,
or-
I think because I think in the beginning I felt like God was calling me to be a pastor in a way. Like I wanted to be like I really wanted to be a youth pastor, but then I was like, nah, I'm good. Like after a while, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because that calling is very heavy, and I'm just like I don't want that weight on me. Just from just being transparent.
Sure.
But yeah, I worked at a warehouse, bro, and I was forklift certified. And I remember, like acting like I was DJing on the boxes in some of the warehouse aisles. I'm like, yo, I can't wait to like be out of here. And like even before then in Walmart, I would tell people, oh yeah, I'm calling out. I have a show this weekend in Alabama or in North Carolina. And they're like, oh yeah, you have a show. Like, hope you have fun, like in your little thing, like you know, like that type of thing. And it was always crazy, but I knew what God called me to. Even my parents were like, "Yo, like you're so dumb. Get a degree. Like you're so stupid. Like why are you chasing these fantasies? Like have something to fall back on." And it was like the method wasn't that good, but they loved me. It was out of love. I never felt like it was them being like jerks to me. They were they loved me. They wanted the best for me.
I understand.
But they were like, this isn't the way. Because I remember I worked at Walmart, then I worked at a warehouse, and then I had gotten fired from my warehouse job because I was doing too many shows. So I had Saturday, Sunday off from my job, and I would call out Thursday and Friday and have Saturday, Sunday to travel and stuff. I did it so much that they were like, hey, like you can either quit or we can fire you, but we can't have you calling out all the time because, you know, we need you. And I felt like at that time that was God pushing me to do it full time.
So that leads me into my next question. So at 15, 16, you actually met Lecrae and Andy Mineo for the first time while you were a security guard.
Yeah.
Not even performing. You were
Yeah.
a security guard for them at their show.
Yeah.
So, man,
Insane.
like
And
it's
now
just
they're like
full
my best
circle
friends.
moment,
Yeah.
right? So it's just like, what was going through your mind as like a younger teenager when you first ran into these like monoliths of
Yeah.
musicians and you were like trying to get to their position one day? Did you like freak out when you saw them, and like what did you say to them?
This is a funny story. I tell Lecrae this all the time when I see him. Not all the time, but we reminisce about this. So when I first met Lecrae, this is when he dropped Gravity. Big album. Big album at the time. And like you said, I was doing security. He was doing sound check. And I had security access, so I was able to go in during his sound check. And I was just there chilling, whatever. He got off the stage. And he was meeting people, and I was waiting because, again, to call back to what I was saying earlier, like my boy Ricky had kind of gotten me saved through Christian hip hop. So like Lecrae was one of the main voices that he used to kind of use music to kind of persuade me towards the gospel and the way. I meet Lecrae, sobbing, I'm crying. Like I meet him, like he dashed me up, and I'm like crying. I'm like, yo man, like I'm just so man, you changed my life, like. And he dashed me up, and then he hugs me, and he's like, yo bro, stop crying, man. These people shouldn't be seeing you cry. And I was like, you right, bro, you right. I remember wiping my tears away.
Was he being like serious, or was he being like more joking?
No, he was being caring. Like he wasn't being a jerk. He was
Okay,
like, yo,
okay.
bro, you should stop crying, man. It's like
I got
there's
you.
a lot of people around. I'm like, no, you good, bro.
How many people are like watching you guys?
It was like at least like 15, 20 people. You know,
Okay.
like they were watching so they can get their pictures.
Right.
So he was like, yo, man, like, thank you. I appreciate you. And then when he
Mm-hmm.
dapped me up and brought me in, he's like, hey, bro, like, it's okay. Like, you ain't got to cry. It's fine, bro. I'm like, all right, bet. My bad, bro.
That's so funny. So like, okay, how many years later up until you actually made music with them? Because he was on your last album, Bodega 2, Fall of Rome, I believe is the song's title.
Crazy. Full circle.
Insane song, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Insane song.
So that happened in 2011,
Mm-hmm.
2012, when I met them. And then I started working with Lecrae in 2019, the beginning of 2019.
So 8 years.
Yeah, 8 years later, I started working with him. I've been working with him ever since as his DJ to fill in and stuff like that. It's been crazy. But it's insane, bro. Like, because now, like, these people are like people that are in my life that I go to for advice, for prayer, to talk. Like, it's insane to me.
When we're destined to do something, meeting people early on in your life, in your career. So did you ever feel like God was teasing you, making you impatient with your dreams coming true, being like, hey, yo, you're a 16, 17-year-old kid. Here's your heroes right in front of you, but you got to wait 8 years to do anything with them.
Yeah.
So do you think it's more like God intentionally brings the heroes into your life to inspire and motivate you to work towards a goal and give you a glimpse of what your future could be? Or is it more so of like, no, it's not so much divine, coordination of your path. It was just kind of a coincidence. You met him early on, and then you just ended up working with him in the future.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't God teasing me. I felt like I had visions and dreams about the things that I'm doing now. Like, even back to what I just told you earlier about me imagining I'm in front of a big crowd DJing and I'm over here stacking boxes.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like God put that in my heart, and it was like me just trusting God and what the Holy Spirit had imparted in my heart and in my mind to just follow that path, regardless of what my parents said, regardless of what society said. People used to make fun of me in high school for wanting to be a DJ. Like, I knew what I wanted to do before it actually happened, because I felt like God really put that in my heart. So when it finally happened, I'm like, wow, Father, thank you for your faithfulness. Like, I had kind of seen these things come into fruition because I knew that's what God was pulling me towards. Like, I felt that from, I think, not the minute I got saved, but I think because, like, my boy Ricky was in music and music was used to save me, I was like, I really want to be in this Christian hip hop sphere. And yeah, God, like, divine appointments, God breaking me down and building me up, making me a better man throughout the way, and just putting me in rooms that I can't even imagine, and just being myself. Like, not fabricating things, not trying to be an opportunist, not trying to be somebody who wants to hit the next thing or do the next thing. I'm just like, no, I know where God wants me, and if I'm in this room, I'm gonna be myself, and whatever happens from me being myself is what God wants.
So ambitious young men, I feel like they struggle a lot with uncontrolled ambition, extremely impatient.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 18, 19, I wanted everything now. I still struggle with that to a certain degree. I won't lie to you. But I'm a lot more stoic in my approaches when I want to do business with somebody or this, that, and the third when I'm trying to achieve goals. I know that it's a long game, and as much as I want them right now in the moment, but like, it'll come down later on if I do the work, right?
Yeah.
So now people see you working with the people that at one point were holding you while you were crying.
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for ambitious young men that want the things right now in this moment?
Yeah.
But if they just keep working at it in the future, they might be able to achieve it then.
Yeah, I think the advice I'll have is just grow to love what you do regardless of an outcome. Like, if you really believe two things, if you honestly, like, for you right now, I'm gonna just talk to you.
Sure.
If you really believe that God called you to be a podcaster and an influencer in that way, right? And you just want to grow in that, like, those two things, despite an outcome, like, God's gonna honor that. Like, if you're someone who's like, I want to be a podcaster because I want to be famous and I want people to know who I am, and I think that I can do things better than this person, than that person. Not that God won't honor that heart, but God, like, that's not fertile ground to work on, my brother. So it's like, if you have a desire in your heart to do something, and it's a pure desire of, I feel like I can add to people's lives through this avenue of creativity, then God will honor that. It'll take time. Some people is quicker than others. And then sometimes the people it happens quick, they fizzle out quick. So it's like, if it takes a little bit longer to build, then what I've learned is that there'll be a lot more longevity to you. Because, you know, like a quick rise is a quick fall.
Right.
A gradual rise is a gradual fall. You know, like it's like you could be here longer if you take a little bit longer to do things. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen people that come into rooms and they want to be the center of attention. They want to be the opportunist. They want to shake the hands. They want to do that. They want to do this. Hey, I'm so and so and I do this. And people are turned off by that. As opposed to someone who's just cool, chilling, and wants to build a relationship genuinely and doesn't want to look at you or whoever as an opportunity, but rather as a relationship to either grow them or grow what they're doing, can be like, see the person that is wanting to be a center of attention and be like, I'm good. To then going to you and be like, hey, bro, you're kind of cool and you're quiet. Like, what do you do? And it's like when they ask you, what do you do? Like, oh, I do this. And it just happens to be in the same line of like what they do.
Right.
Like I remember seeing a tweet from one of my favorite producers. His name is Alex Medina. And he was like, when you go into rooms and tell people what you do, it turns them off. You know what I'm saying? But if you're like a cool person and you pop up consistently and people see you more, they'll be curious to know what you do. And when they ask you and you tell them and you happen to do the same thing that they do, they respect you because you didn't lead with what you did. You led with your character.
Also, I think to add on to that, this amazing saying I heard a while back was like, if you're good at something, you'll tell people. But if you're great at something, people will tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Literally.
When you first started working in the Christian hip hop industry, you were DJ Bless. You were DJ Bless.
Dustin, this guy does his homework. I like this.
And you didn't do that just because you were like,
this
yo,
is crazy.
Christian, Bless. No, you did because you had the game Def Jam.
Oh, you done your homework.
That was your favorite character to fight as
This is great.
Bless.
I love you, bro. This is amazing. Keep going. I'm sorry.
I got you. So, but when you would meet these guys, right? You would have when I mean these guys, influential like celebrity figures when you were younger. You would have like this extreme excitement about you.
100%.
And you had advice where people were actually telling you, and if you want to work with these people, you actually got to tone it down a bit.
Yeah.
So for you, did you eventually become numb to work or being around all these celebrities because you're just like, all right, this is just my job now? Or to work with them effectively, did you have to tell yourself in your mind, these are just regular people, and that you just had to, water them down in your brain so you don't have to overreact so you can get the job done around them?
Yeah.
Or is the excitement still there and you're just better at controlling it now?
Yeah, I think the excitement is still there. I'm just better at controlling it.
Okay.
But the reason why I'm able to control it is because being around certain people, you learn that the same things that you struggle with, that the same things that you like kind of like battle in your mind about, they do too. So when I learned that a lot of these people are just humans that have a bigger platform than me, I was like, bro, like you're you're good. There's people in the Christian industry and in the secular industry who they want you to like worship the ground that they walk on.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm the type of person, I don't care who you are, bro. I'm gonna treat you the same way I treat you. Same way I treat Thomas, same way I treat Dustin, same way I treat, what's your name?
Spencer.
Huh?
Spencer.
Same way I treat Spencer.
Yeah.
Like, if I meet Drake, I'm gonna treat Drake the same way I treat Spencer.
Right.
Because it's like, bro, if we die, we bleed the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got more money than me. Because I'm like, bro, like, I've seen people that I admire get knocked off their block. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to, like, their celebrity or their popularity, like, through fallouts or through things, and it's like, or just through time, like people that I looked at as people that I would get excited about in rooms. Now that our years have gone by, nobody even thinks of them, bro. The same people that you think don't matter on your way up are gonna be the same people you're gonna pass on the way down.
Right.
So if you treat everybody, if you treat the CEO and the janitor the same, you're good. So it's not like a numbness that I have. It's more like you're regular. You just got more money than me.
Right.
Like, how are you as a person? Like, do I rock with you as a person? And I just get to know them as people, and they so happen to be influential, but my mind going into these rooms isn't, how do I sway these people? Or how do I make these people like me? I go into a room and I'm like, I'm unapologetically gonna be myself. And if you like me, lit. If you don't like me, keep it pushing.
Did you ever struggle with that though? Did you always have that mindset? Or did you have to develop that? Because I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you because I'm there now.
Yeah.
But if you talk to Emmanuel from 2020, 2021, he would have been looking at you sideways like, what? You wouldn't be freaking out if this or that person walked in the room?
Yeah,
always
so
like that?
We're about to get in the weeds now. So when I grew up, I got bullied a lot. I got bullied a lot.
Me too.
So growing up in middle school and in like grade school, I used to always want to get people to like me. Always. I'm the funny guy. I will go above and beyond to make a fool out of myself or anybody else to get a laugh, to make you like me. And then the older that I got, the more that I realized that these people don't care about me. It's weird, bro. God has put me through so many things in my life that I feel like adults have learned. I've learned at like crazy young ages. I remember one time I had a friend who was my friend when it was just me and him. And then when other people in our neighborhood got around, he would pretend not to be my friend. Like he would bully them. He would bully me with them. But then when it's just me and him, he'd be cool. So I'm like, oh man, people don't really care about me. People don't really love me. You know what I'm saying? So why am I gonna go above and beyond to make somebody like me if they already like in their head don't like me?
Why were they bullying you?
I don't know, bro. I mean, I think about it a lot. Cause like I said, like I grew up in the project, so it's just like it is what it is at that point. But when I moved to Jersey, I was getting bullied a lot. Like for whatever reason. I'm talking about like kids would knock on my door just to tell my parents for me to come outside and play. I'll get beat up. Like
no way.
Yeah, like it was just I was like the punching bag, you know, like
wow.
Do you like not curse, but like what words can I use on this podcast?
Literally anything.
I don't know about anything, but all right. So I remember one time I got bullied. There was one time where these group of kids and a girl came. I was walking from I think playing basketball to my house. They came and they just saw me and they were like they all beat me up, and then one of the kids pissed on me like you know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, this is
how old were you?
I think I was like 10, 11 years old.
Man.
Yeah. So, but it's like stuff like that. God allowed me to see it in a way where I can like learn the heart of people that either care about me or don't care about me. And I'm like, now that I'm in these spaces where I'm at now, it's like I learned these things throughout life. Even in high school, it's like, bro, the people that are popular, bro, they either suck as people or they're struggling with the same things that you are. Yeah. So this platform that you put them on in your head is a facade because they're probably more lonely than you are. Right. You know what I mean? So now when I get into these rooms, I try to keep it even keel because, like I said, I used to be the class clown, the do anything for attention, like do anything. And even when I was like first coming up, I remember doing some Christian hip hop shows, and my boys was like, "Yo, like you gotta chill out," like because I wasn't an opportunist, but I was like, "I'm gonna make you notice me." Like I'll talk loud, I'll do something. I'm gonna make you. I was in attention. I wanted attention. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like, but once I went to therapy and like allowed God to have those things, and feeling like I should be seen, like people have to notice me. But when I noticed and I sat with the fact that God loves me, God notices me. I need no other approval but Him. That settled me. But that's what I was telling you when my grandmother passed away and I moved to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. That was like my training ground because I had no friends, bro. I had no car. In Atlanta, there's no public transportation that can get you anywhere significant. So if you didn't have a car where I was living at, you can't get nowhere. So I was home when my parents would go to work because I didn't have a job yet. I had no friends in Atlanta. So it was just me and God in that whole time. So it was like what I learned in that time was a lot of what's transpiring now. Is like, every bit of this can be stripped away and it'll hurt, but I know I'm fine because I still have God. But I'm good. Like at the base foundation of everything that I have God and I'm good. So now when I go into these rooms, I'm like, you can't change my life more than God has and will. Like freaking Oprah, bro. You can give me any amount of money, but you're not gonna change my life the way God changed my life. Right. So if I'm in a room with these people, very even keel, very chill, because they're human, like I'm human, and I'm gonna be me. Because I'm not there to climb a ladder, I'm there to make an impact.
Why Christian hip hop though? Why not secular music?
Oh, because I just didn't like it. Like I just not that I didn't like it, but that was never my thing. Like when Ricky was putting me on the music and I got saved, I literally told him, "Yo, CHH is missing like a DJ." Like because I grew up in New York City, so I have Funk Flex, like DJ Premier, like DJ Camilo, Green Lantern, all these big DJs that are in hip hop. I felt like Christian hip hop didn't have. So I remember telling Ricky, I was like, "Bro, I want to be the biggest Christian hip hop DJ ever." And he was like, that was back in like 2010. Because there's people that are like this that went down the secular route, didn't really make it, got saved, and now they're in the Christian hip hop route. Yeah. I was exclusively Christian hip hop. Right. There was no point where I divulged from that.
how does someone monetize the art that they love so much?
Mm.
How did you get to the position now where you're just like, I love doing this art form. Now I gotta live off this art form so I can only do it. How do people monetize off of what they love doing?
It's pretty easy to make money off music. There's so
Really?
many different avenues on how to make money off music. Obviously Spotify distribution, like radio. There's like, you can make money off music.
But at the end of the day, people gotta listen to it.
100%. So I mean, you just have to have an interesting story and an interesting way of being that people will be attracted to. And also, you guys got to be like, God got to bless it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying people who aren't successful in what we do are not blessed by God. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying to the level of which we're at, like, God got to be in the mix of elevating you, like, not you. Like, you could work hard for sure, but God has to bless the work. So it's like, yes, to be successful in this, you have to have a fan base or build a fan base. Like, there's people that I have no idea who they are, who are making $100,000 a year off of Christian hip hop, which is amazing. It's not a thing where it's like you got to be one of the popular ones to be successful. You can be successful, period. It just takes you like desiring to build an audience, like to build fans.
A lot of artists like to elevate their own minds. And the way that they do this is smoking weed, doing marijuana. And so I was just very curious if people in the Christian hip hop scene also try to elevate their minds so that they could get into some type of groove vibe to create lyrics or instrumentals, beats. Do you guys partake in smoking weed or?
I mean, not me. I mean, I've definitely had weed and edibles and stuff like that post me getting saved, but I don't use those to create. But I don't use them to create. I've never used them to create, and I don't really use them in a way that's like, I don't really use them in that manner to be creative or for that matter at all.
Has it just not helped you out?
Yeah, not for me personally. No, it's never. It just makes me sleepy. It just makes me super sleepy. Like I'm good. But there are people within the space that have done that or do that. That's like their prerogative. That's not something that I do. I can speak for myself when I say that those things don't help me be creative. It just makes me lazy, makes me tired, sleepy. Would
you say there's people in the industry that we'd be surprised that we'd find out that they do smoke weed to make their art?
Not to make their art, but that they do smoke. I mean, anybody would be surprised because people that look up to anybody, if it's contrary to what they've built in their mind, they'll be surprised about anything that contradicts that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I don't, like, 90% of us don't do any of that.
90%?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Because I was just curious, because I do have family and friends that are in the music industry. Yeah. Actually, so one of them is a really big DJ here in Arizona.
Oh, dope.
But it's like house music, EDM, that style. And obviously, they're, you know.
Yeah, you gotta be on drugs. I
mean, the crowd, they're all destroyed.
Yeah,
we went to one show, and I was just like, this ain't it for me. So I don't consider that a concert either.
No, I'm the same way, bro. I don't. There's certain things that I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to be here.
Yeah. So if someone's such a huge fan of yours and they dream to work with you one day, right? How can they approach you in the conversation to show genuine like love and admiration for you as a fan, but also keep a door open to eventually collaborate with you potentially in the future?
Yeah, so I've had people do it terribly and I've had people do it really well.
Give me a terrible example.
A terrible example is someone who's like constantly DMing me like in a way where it's just obnoxious, like super obnoxious.
But did they ever get anywhere to work with you?
No, I'm not gonna answer the DM at that point. Like, you're just being obnoxious. The thing that I love to do is I love being the one to approach you. So like because I go to Christian hip hop shows like that I'm not a part of. I go to things and I pay attention. Like, I'm not somebody that stays in the green room or is too bougie to do anything. Like, I like to interact with people. I like to be out there. And I remember going to Boston at this place called Elevation Conference. It's an amazing thing for Christian hip hop artists. One of my good friends, Mike Mack, he puts it on with a great team. It's in Boston, and they bring out Christian hip hop artists for like a week as like an R&R thing, and they have like selected lower tier Christian hip hop artists or people that they believe in that aren't where they want to be. They'll bring them in, house them, feed them, clothe them, and they'll have us teach lessons to them on how to build their brands.
Imagine that you think that they're like way higher and they end up in that group and they're
like,
what
you're like, wait,
what?
Like,
I'm in this group?
Like, hey, bro, reality check. It's like, But like places like Elevation Conference really help artists in that way to where I'm able to be like, oh, I rock with you. What's your music? How can we get in contact?
So you're in the role of a mentor, kind of.
Yeah. Like not fully, but yeah. Like it's like I people that want to get in contact with me, as long as you're genuine, and I meet you and you're cool, same way with me and you. I am not unattainably, I'm not unattainable. Like you can come to me, but it's more like people that don't know me, haven't met me, just DM me. Or even people that I've given my number to sometimes too, they just blow my phone up or ask for favors and I'm like, bro, like just be cool. Be cool, bro. Like let's develop to that point. Like, because I've given people my number and I'm cool with them. I think that I'm too friendly sometimes, in multiple ways. And then they'll be like, yo, can you listen to this and like tell me what you think? And I'm like, bro, we just met, bro. Like, just give me like 2 weeks, bro. Come on. Like,
you know what I'm listen to my mixtape real quick?
Yeah, I got you, bro. I throw his phone in the water. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that is actually extremely frustrating. I could tell that, you know, like they see you reach a certain level, you got the followers, the badge on your Instagram account. They're like, oh man, let me get good with this guy.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't care about any of that. I just want to let you know.
I understand, but the average person, you'd be surprised, like how even just a little bit when the numbers are popping, they view you in a completely different light.
Yeah, I actually don't like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. So you don't know me well, but you'll get to know me. But me, like I'm someone, I curse. I'm like degular. Like when you meet me, I'm like, I'm me. And you could tell that God is in me, on me, and working through me. Because I don't want anybody to ever look at me in an elevated sense. Because I don't want you to look at me like I'm on a pedestal, because God forbid I do something you don't like, it's gonna rock your world. Like, so when I meet people, like obviously I use discretion, I use wisdom, and I use the Holy Spirit to know what I can't say, can and can't do. But I'm authentically myself in every space. Because then when you come to me, and if I act like I'm this prim and proper person, and God forbid something happens, and it's gonna tear your world apart. Like I'm gonna give you fully me right there when you meet me, and I'm gonna tell you like.
So you know people are watching you.
I 100% I know people are watching me, and that's why I am the way I am sometimes. Because I'm like, yo, I want to tear down any veil that you think I have on me, and I want to be me. So that if you love me, you love me. You don't love the idea of me. Because there's people that are Christian influencers, Christian artists who try to say the right thing, do the right thing, look like they're doing the right thing, or like don't show certain things because they want to present themselves as this prim and proper Christian to the world. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be me. So then when you see me, you could be like, wow, he's really authentically himself. And then when I grow from that, you can look back at when you met me and be like, wow, the evidence of God is on him because look how much he's grown. You know what I'm saying? So if I approach you and I'm like, I'm going to act like I'm where God has me.
So there's only up for you instead of only down at that point.
Bro. Yes, because if I act like I'm here all the time and something happens, I'm going down. But if I act like I'm here consistently and you see me, it's like, oh, like God's working on him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Would you say it's a humble beast? Would you say that?
I would say that. Humble beast.
That's a song in Bodega.
Shout out to the guys.
All right. So you said that there's people blowing up your phone. There's a wrong way to do it and a right way to do it. How did you do it when you were first starting out?
Oh, so it's crazy because I've said this at conferences too, especially at Elevation conferences. People are like, yo, how did you get to where you're at? Like, bro, I served people. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of this band. They're no longer together. They're a former collective of Christian hip hop. They're called Dream Junkies. There's a guy named Belief. You know Belief?
No.
He has a big YouTube. Him and his kid, the Chocolate Babies. They're great. He has a big YouTube. He's a big YouTuber. Now, he used to rap. He came to Atlanta one time, and I remember him coming and posting on Instagram, yo, Dream Junkies has a show in Atlanta. We'll pull up. And I remember DMing him, hey, bro, if you need a ride from the airport or you want to get food, I'm there to serve you. Need help or anything, let me know. I'm here.
Oh, so just at a human level. You weren't even like...
Yeah, like, hey, if you need something, I'm here.
Got you.
And I remember him being like, yeah, bro, can you pick me up? Like, because it's like, it's all about, like, connections. Like,
but did he know you prior to that?
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, but somebody he knew me. So they vouched for me.
Okay, so I was going to say, because a lot of people, they'll be like, Mykael, I'm going to DM you right now. Let me go pick you up on tour anywhere you go. And you're like, I don't know you.
Yeah. So obviously, it's like a vouch thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
So... But yeah, and that's what I would do with everybody. So when I would go places, I'd be like, hey, can I help you in any way? Like, do you need anything? Can I get something for you? Like, and not looking for anything other than, hey, out of the goodness of my heart, I served you with no expectation of anything else. That's how I got to where I'm at. Like, just literally just serving people. Like, hey, do you want me to sell your merch? Do you need me to help you bring merch in? Like, that's how I started off, was just DMing people, hey, like, yeah, I'm a DJ, I do music, but when I'm with you, I'm not gonna talk about my music. I'm just gonna serve you. And if you want to talk about that, you bring it up, we can bring it up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, it's just
How many people took you up on that offer?
a lot.
One of my pieces of advice that I give to a lot of people, there's been a lot of younger dudes calling me up recently about wanting to start their own podcast or whatever, and they're like, yo, how do I do this? So I've been giving them, some of my time and just mentoring them in a way.
Yeah.
And it's been cool. But the number one thing that I say to them is that you got to provide value before you ask for value back, right? It's what you are going to first. You're just serving at a human level.
Yep.
And so, but there's moments in life where if you meet someone real quick, like in passing at an event, conference, something, and they got somewhere to go, maybe Lecrae's got to perform, something like that, you don't have too much time to get like the value that you could provide to them. You can inform them of that. So how do you manage those situations where a person has very limited time with them to provide value to? How would you manage that?
I think for me, it's always like either pulling them aside, or if you can't pull them aside, just tell them in front of people, hey, if you ever need anything, I'd love to pick your brain if you have time. And kind of leave it at that, and then hopefully y'all bump into each other again. Because like the thing is with bigger people is if they see you in the same rooms, then that means that you're someone to pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you consistently get in rooms that you're supposed to be in and they're there too, it's just destined to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
so don't force it.
Don't force it. Like, just be. If God has His hand on what you're doing, God will bring it full circle 1,000% of the time.
I got you. So yeah, you have a quote actually that I really like what you said. You said at one interview prior to this, you go, "I love what you can do. How can I help? Can I be a part of it?"
Yeah.
That "can I be a part of it" is cool. Have you ever asked anyone that before and they were like, "No"?
Oh yeah, a few people. I really can't remember who. And
names don't matter, but it's just the reason I ask that is like for the ego.
Yeah, no, like there has people that have been like, nah, bro, I'm good. Like, bro, there's people that when I was coming up and I'm the way that I am with them, like I told you how being serving and didn't like me. They were like, I don't know, like get away, like, oh, don't let him back here, don't whatever.
Did that make you try to change the way that you were though?
In some aspects, yeah, but then I realized that in most like situations that I felt that it was that person's insecurity and it really wasn't me. So then when I got into these rooms with that same person or people that were there that wanted to avoid me or didn't believe in me, now they're knocking on my door.
No way.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, like that's the same thing I told you. Like when you're coming up and you're high, you're riding high, the same people you pass up are going to be the same people you pass down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I always make sure to treat everybody 100% well. And there were people, like I said, that were like, nah, I don't want you to be a part of this, or you can't be a part of this. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to start my own thing, and I'm going to build that up, and I'm going to make that great, and I'm going to make you notice it. That's like the hard worker in me that just said that.
Yeah. No, I think you need that specific aspect of like that mentality. That Mamba mentality, you could say, in order to do anything significant with your life. If not, you're just going to be a pushover. People are going to roll over you all the time. But so I kind of want to keep it on the same topic, but shift it just slightly a little bit because I'm trying to bring myself back to humanity, and I'll explain. So I've sat down with a lot of millionaires before.
You're rich. Does the camera see the pool?
I've sat down with a lot of millionaires for business deals, conversations, podcasts, stuff like that. What I noticed with a lot of them in the past few years is that they're very fast. Go, 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 boom, boom, boom. If you want their time of day, you got to match their energy levels. Because if you're slow and you're not to the point and they got meetings to go to, all these things, they're not going to want to talk to you. So in order to relay information back to you, you got to be able to give them information quickly. So I got conditioned to live that way for a while, 2, 3, 4 years. I thought every millionaire was like this. And I look at them, I was like, man, I want to really be like them one day. So I got to practice being this way.
Yeah.
Always on the fly, never being calm, cool, chill, just have a conversation. And what I feel like is that it stripped this humanity away from me because I was never like that before, man.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I want to ask you, relating it back to our conversation, is that with the Christian hip hop industry, even though they're Christians and, we learn the words of the gospel. Yes, we learn humility. Yes, we learn the words of Christ. But also, at the end of the day, we're human beings. And everyone's on the move. Tribe on the move.
Exactly.
Uh,
Can't the truth.
and so they also have meetings to get to. They got appointments to make. They got fans to meet. They got, some of them are millionaires too.
No,
So did you ever have to change your way that you approach certain people? Or did you change the way that you also maneuvered when you got into this like scheduled lifestyle as well?
I would say I changed a little bit, because not that I'm go, but I'm not one for the pleasantries. So what I mean by that is if you want something from me, just say you want something from me. Like, I don't like people that are trying to fake be my friend because they want something. Like, if you want something, just say it out front, and if I rock with you or I like what you're doing, we'll get it popping. But don't be like, hey bro, how was your day? How was your family? And you just know the third question in is gonna be like, hey bro, can you ... Hey, can I have the ... So I hate stuff like that.
Yeah.
So me, I'm more like, yo, if you want to ask something of me, just get straight to the point. Like, don't try to drag me along this emotional fake roller coaster that you.
But besides people wanting something from you, I'm just talking about like day-to-day business.
Oh, like business to business. Oh no, I'm pretty chill. I'm very much like, I'm go, but I also try to slow myself down and be in the moment, because I never want to be a slave to my desires or my job. I really want, or my like vocation, which is DJing and music and like co-owning the Holy Smoke and all these things. Like, I don't want to get caught up in that, because my first obligation as a human is to be a follower of Christ. So it's like, if I'm go, then I'm succumbing to the world, and I'm succumbing to the mindset of get everything I can while I'm here. And it's like not resting and knowing that God has full and ultimate control in every aspect of my life. You know what I'm saying? So when people, to me, not everybody, to me, when people are like, go, I need to do this, I need to do that, I'm like, you are chasing security so much that you're robbing yourself of your humanity a little bit, how you said. Like, because you're chasing. It's like, to me, I'm like, I trust God. Whatever amount of money in my life that I have to do his will, he'll give it to me.
So I want to go into the indie tribe side now.
Let's get it.
So in 2014, 2015, that was the first time where you met nobigdyl.
Yes, sir.
It was, I believe it was at a festival called Flavor Fest.
Yes.
Okay, so about 10 years you've known Dill.
That's like one of my best friends.
But at the time, indie tribe was gonna end. He was trying to end indie tribe. He didn't want it to be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And you said to him, if I can get John Keith
to
join indie tribe with me, then can we do this thing? And he said, let me think about it. And then John joined over, and you guys are now where you're at now. Mowgli the Iceberg, 9-5, all these guys. My question is now, how well was your relationship with Dill when you were pitching that to him? Because I could see that if you weren't too close to a person trying to be like, yo, let me join, and then can I be your DJ? And like, they could take that the wrong way. Like, 100%. How does someone approach that? And then you guys obviously made it very successfully at this point now. So talk to me about that experience.
I met him right as he was about to start Indie Tribe. So the original 4 Indie Tribe members were Dill, Mowgli, the founders, and then What Up RG and Jerry Mana. Those are the original 4. They were together for like 2 years maybe, and then some wires got crossed, things happened, and RG and Jerry Mana ended up leaving, which is the story you brought up about Dill being like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Yeah. Because it just really hurt him at the time, and that was something that was really dear to him that I felt like he kind of got punched in the gut with. And I had been friends with him for so long at this point, and I was just telling him, because I've been his DJ from jump. Like, not since I met him, but since I met him, I've just been DJing for him. So I was always unofficially a part of Indie Tribe, but I was never, ever an official member until he made me one. But him and Mowgli were like, yeah, we don't know if we want to continue this. It was just like a really dark time as for them as a group. And I remember being like, yo, like, no, Indie Tribe can be big, bro. Like, if we get the right assembly of people, which I was like, yo, me and John Keith, great additions to this. Like, great. And I remember, bro, I FaceTimed John. I was like, John, you want me to be part of Indie Tribe? He was like, no, but let me think about it. And then he called me back days later. He was like, nah, I think I want to do it. And then Dill being okay with it, and we all came together and did it. And now there's 5 of us. So it's me, John Keith, nobigdyl, Mowgli, and Tori Deshawn. 5 of us now are Indie Tribe. And yeah, it was crazy, man. It was a crazy time because I really felt like God put on my heart, like, to not abandon what Indie Tribe could be at that point in time. So I was like, hey, bro, I feel like this would be the right move, and God has blessed it, man.
So when you're pushing for something big like that to happen, when do you know is like the time where you got to stop pushing it? Like, how do you assess with someone if you're like, yo, we got to get this group together, we got to keep going, where Dill's just like, hey, man, stop. Like, was there ever anything like that? Or how do you know where to draw the line in the sand?
So for me, it's more like Dill's a very particular person. So if I knew if he wanted it to stop, if he would be like, hey, Mykael, I don't even want to talk about it.
Okay.
So whenever I would talk about it, he'd be like, I don't know, bro. Like, we'll see. Like, and I knew that he still wanted to do something, but it was just like, it was hard at the moment. So I kept on pushing as an encouragement. I'm like, hey, bro, don't give up the idea. This is still good. We just got to get the right people. Mm-hmm. And eventually those words held true. And John and I joined, and Mowgli and Dill welcomed it. And we're here where we are now.
There was the first group of millionaires I was talking about in the beginning. And then I actually sat down in the lounge with a lot of different group of millionaires. And what I noticed is that this group was chill. Mm-hmm. They sat. They listened. They actually were asking me questions, asking me for advice to help them learn on certain things about social media that they didn't know. And I was like, okay, so
good people.
Not all millionaires are like that. I thought it was like you all had to fall under certain characteristics and traits in order to reach a certain level. Mm-hmm. And so now what I'm understanding is like, no. Certain people are that way. That works for them. That's great. But also, some people, if they just slow it down a bit, you actually can build those relationships up better. You could learn about someone's life more intimately, and then something else sparks from those conversations. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is like building my humanity back that I chipped away for a while. The reason I bring all this up to tie this back into Indie Tribe is that when Indie Tribe locked down for Mountain View Drive documentary, you guys were in a house, hunkered down for a week. You logged out of social media. It was just the boys, and you guys had to start a project, and you needed to get somewhere really good with it. So bringing this back to the rush thing, do you work? 1 week's not a long time.
Yeah.
That's a very quick time, especially when you're working on projects.
100%.
And we'll get into some of the minutia of that documentary.
Minutia's crazy. Crazy word to pull out.
Do you feel better working under pressure, or do you feel better when you have more time on your own leisure?
Ooh, I think when I'm on my own leisure, I'm more prone to be lazy or like procrastinative about it.
You need a fire under your butt.
Yeah, so it's like if I got a deadline I got to meet, I'm like, let's lock in, let's get it. Like let's do it. Like so for Mountain View Drive, it's funny you say that because I was telling Dustin like I just got home last night back to Atlanta from our 3rd annual Indie Tribe Week to make an album.
Sorry,
so it's like
dragged you out here in Arizona.
Huh?
I said sorry, I dragged you out here in Arizona.
No, I love being here. This is lit. This is I did not grit my teeth.
You weren't even home for like what 24 hours?
Not even. I was home for like 12 hours. Respect. I came here, but I'm here, bro. Come on, dog. I rock with you, dog. Come on, man. But yeah, I work better with constraints. But also when you're in a room with that many creatives and we all have one common goal, it flows, bro. We get into a flow state. So it's like it's not even like rush. It's like, yo, we're all here and we're all locked in. We're all gonna get something done because we are all marching towards the same goal.
So was Mountain View Drive documentary shot in Atlanta?
No, that's shot in Chattanooga. That was in an Airbnb in Chattanooga.
Oh, okay. Right.
So like everybody drove from Nashville. Everybody drove from Atlanta. So if you're in the South, Atlanta and Nashville are 3 hours apart, and an hour and a half from both is Chattanooga. So we met in the middle, got an Airbnb. It was like 2 houses, and
did you guys do a different location each time, or?
Nah, well, we did the first 2 at the same spot, which is Mountain View, and then this most recent one we did at Dill's house.
I don't know why that documentary infatuated me so much. I guess because it was just a whole bunch of best friends just creating sick art and music. But so in my mind, like my best friends helped me with the pod. My best friend Spencer, I've known him since kindergarten. He's doing the audio for me.
Spencer, yeah, baby.
My brother Thomas, he's doing my videography.
Yeah, Thomas, boo.
And I got other best friends. They're not here right now. They're on other trips. You can see how they're not committed like that.
Yeah,
but
they don't want it bad enough.
Yeah,
bro.
no.
Fire them immediately.
They're gonna be talking to HR soon
For sure.
which is me
Who's HR?
right here.
Spencer? Oh, the CEO at HR.
And so, but my point is that when we're together, we have a blast. But when we lock in, we lock in.
100%.
But my question to you is, when I was watching the documentary, I saw you guys brought your Nintendo Switches, you got video games, stuff like that, cooking with each other, having fun. It's like, what percentage of that time is spent on like legit productivity, and what percent is spent on just having fun?
So we have a rule of 11 to 11. So we'll do devotion at 10 a.m. Till we end, and which should be 11, and then from 11 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night, we're working on music.
So if you got the energy after that, you're having fun.
Yeah. So yeah, or like during dinner time,
Yeah.
play video games, or if we're like kind of creative out, play video games.
Quick break.
Chill, go for a walk.
I got you.
Go for a drive. Same thing.
The writer's block, get that out of the way.
Yep.
With secular music, it's really interesting because I saw that you referred to J. Cole's documentary that he shot when he was creating, I think it was Forest Hills Drive at the time.
Yeah.
And so I see you guys reference secular music a lot. So is it that you guys, or you in particular, I'll speak to you.
Yeah.
So do you want to collaborate with these big artists in the secular world? Because, you know, it's still music at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Just the content and genre may differ and the messaging may differ. But my message is like, do you guys just look at the J. Coles and the Drakes as someone to aspire to work with one day? Or no, is it just like they set a baseline of music quality and you want to just exceed that always?
That's what it is.
That's what it is?
I don't think we desire, not that we're opposed to it if we're approached, but I don't think the desire is let's make good enough music to work with Kendrick. Let's make good enough music to work with Drake. We're just making good music because that's what we feel like God's called us to.
Did you ever struggle with that though, where you felt like you needed certain people to acknowledge your art in order to feel validated?
Not at all.
Never.
I mean, maybe in the space, like maybe in Christian hip hop, like maybe I want Lecrae to like my music or Andy to like my music because they're people that I look up to. But I've personally never been someone that I'm like, I want the mainstream to know that we're good. I'm like, bro, I'm good. Like, I know that I'm good. I don't need anybody else to tell me I'm good. I'm straight.
Got you.
Yeah, I don't need anything else. I'm good with the people that listen to Bodega. And whatever God allows after that is what God allows. I'm not somebody that is super bent from what people think in that way. I'm very much like, all right, God, don't get me wrong. I have my moments where I'm like, oh, I wish that this outlet would have acknowledged what I did, or this outlet or things that people would have acknowledged what I did. But I'm like, at the end of the day, like when I go home and I sit within myself, I'm like, I'm happy with whatever the outcome has become.
Do you aspire to be one of the greatest in the sphere, or is it kind of just something like you're creating your music, you're creating your art, whoever rocks with it, rocks with it?
I think in the beginning, I wanted to be the best Christian hip hop DJ of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was like a legit chase for me. And I think the older I've got, the more I'm like, yo, whoever rocks with my music, rocks with my music. Whoever is joining on the journey, I'm grateful.
There's a part of this where you have to be competitive, though. So in your
For
mind, when you have that conversation with yourself, where you're like, oh, whoever rocks with me, rocks with me, do you ever get mad at yourself? Like, being like, yo, this is just an excuse that I don't have to pursue greatness? Or is it genuine where you're just like, no, I got nothing to prove.
Yeah.
I actually believe this.
No, yeah, so I listen, I'm going to just keep it a stack. I know that I'm great.
Okay.
I know I work hard, and I know whatever I do, I work hard at.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just settled in the groove of, I know what God has put in me. I know the creativity and the octane that I operate at. If somebody notices that or not, I'm not tripping.
It just doesn't matter.
Like, I'm not somebody that's like, I'm making music for attention or for people to like tell me that my music is good. I'm like, no, God, like, I'm passionate about this, and I want to make great art to help people in any which way or form. So for me, I'm like, I'm good with that. But I work hard in that. I'm not somebody that's lazy. I don't lay back and I'm like a bag in the wind. No, like I attack and I spearhead things to get done. But I let God handle the results. I'm faithful in my work, and then I'm like, here, God, do what you want with that. I tell everybody in my life, I hold everything with a loose hand. Because if God gave it to me, he could take it away. So if I white knuckle anything in my life, I'll be destroyed by it being taken away. So if I hold everything in my life with an open hand, then I'm good. Like, that's because I know, because some of the things that I could say can come off like very like willy-nilly, or, oh, are you not concerned about this? Like, no, I am. I'm human. But I've learned throughout life that God's gonna do in my life what God's want to do in my life. I'm a vessel. I am a pawn on the chessboard. You know what I'm saying? Like my life really isn't mine. So it's like if I make an album and nobody listens to it, and then I die and go to heaven, and God's like, yo, thanks for your faithfulness for making this. I'm straight, bro. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I don't do things for attention, because bro, at the end of the day, like societies change, values change, music changes, things change. Like bro, fashion, everything changes.
Everything's
bro.
changing.
So it's like, if you desire to get the eye of people, you're always gonna have to be maneuvering and changing. Right. But it's like if you just have things that you enjoy, that you believe in, that you work hard at, and it's done well at a high octane level, the people that need to know will know.
There's so many things to unpack here. So the first thing you said is you asked God to use you as a pawn in this game. I actually just tweeted out, I think a month ago, where I was recalling a conversation with the bishop. He's now the patriarch of the Assyrian Church of the East, which is basically our Pope.
Yeah, okay.
So he's like number one.
Okay.
Head honcho.
Call him right now.
I could.
Call the most famous person on your phone right now.
I could. Oh, man. It's a long list. But so here's the thing, though. When he was a bishop, he said, ask God to use you as a pawn in this game of life. And I thought it was so interesting because he could have said rook. He could have said bishop. He could have said knight, queen, king. But he said pawn. And I started to think about the game of chess. And it was that if you get across the chessboard as a pawn to the other side, you can be exchanged for any piece on the board besides a king. There's only one king, that's Christ, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought that was amazing, where if God wants you to make it across the board, he'll upgrade you himself. You don't have to do anything. And he'll keep you safe getting across that board all the way through. I pretty much know how the next answer to this question is going to be, but I just have to ask.
Yeah, for sure.
You've already made this very clear.
I'm not gay. No, bro, I won't date you.
I mean, you texted me Papa one time. I was like, no, I'm just kidding.
You were like, oh, this guy, bro.
We say Baba in the Middle
okay.
Eastern, so
Okay,
it was almost the same thing.
Habibi.
So being a part of a group instead of being solo, right? Mm-hmm. So when I saw you at what was the concert's name that we went to in Arizona?
The People We Became tour.
People We Became tour. Right. Yeah. So when you came out, everyone was like, they like got hyped because the show was about to start. They're like, Mykael. And then you walked back in, everyone was like, that's how the beginning of the thing went, right? But then, you stayed on stage. You were doing all of the production, the music for the boys coming out. But when you're working in a group, is there ever a side of you where you're just like, man, I wish the limelight was more on me sometimes and what I do? Because at the end of the day, we're humans, bro.
Yeah, bro. Nah, so it's crazy because even working in any tribe, I feel like very like minuscule sometimes because everybody knows what they do already. Like I feel, and even in some of my friendships, I feel like I'm like the little brother or like, you know what I'm saying? Like the
why do you
child.
feel that? Why?
I don't know. It stems from childhood, but also it's like I'm a natural overthinker with things. So it's like somebody could do something minuscule and I'll be like, this person hates me. They did this because they don't like me. Like it's just.
You like to please people. That's what.
I'm not a people pleaser,
but you want to make people happy.
Yes, I want to make people happy.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Because I'm just like, if they're happy, then they'll like me. Do I wish the limelight was on me? Not at all. Do I wish I was appreciated more? For sure.
What does that look like to you?
I don't know. I think people are just giving me props when I do something good, or like when I like do something like, because there's times where I feel like I'll do something and I'm like, yo, this is fire. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, cool, bro. And then when somebody does something, I'm like, oh, bro, that's so dope. Like, and I'll give them their flowers. And I'm like, I want what I just gave you.
You want the same energy.
I want the same energy. But I'm not giving you that energy because I want it back. I'm just trying to show you how I like to be loved. You know what I mean? I'm trying to show you by example how I like.
Some people just don't get that.
Yeah, which is fine. I've accepted that within a lot of my friendships, stuff like that. Like, not everybody grew up the same, loves the same, sees the same thing. So it's just like, I kind of just can take what I get in a way. But like, as far as limelight, I'm not somebody that needs that. I think I'm more of like if I help with something, even if it's small, just give me a head nod, man. Just give me a little hat tip. That's all I want. Yeah,
this is interesting. I was listening to a CEO speak recently, and he was saying that each person has their own, like the love language conversation in relationships. Employees have their own recognition language that they have too, where it's some people, they need you to write them an email saying you did a good job. Some people, they say, or they want the boss man to look you in the eyes and say good job. Some guys don't even need that. They would appreciate just a raise or a bonus and they're good.
Yeah.
So everyone has their own language that they speak for recognition. I learned that with my team. I learned that with myself recently too, where I needed to certain things in my profession, my careers, in order to feel validated and appreciated as well. So it just makes sense, man. It's not just a you thing. It's a human thing.
Yeah.
You know, I like to bring these questions up because when you're on stages and you're elevated, no matter how humble you could be, some people just view you differently, like how I said in the beginning.
Yeah, that's inevitable. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, but on Creative Control episode 13 with No Big Deal, the podcast was Indie Tribe. So it was all you guys. And right in the smack dab center was John Keith, right? Yeah. And so you can just tell that he's just a funny dude.
Yeah, he's great.
Fun dude.
Great.
And so you guys have the cool dynamic where you're always joking around. Going back to Mountain View Drive documentary, there was a scene between you two where he was being around the bush and you were like, yo, just tell me straight up that this beat sucks. Yeah. And he didn't want to be rude to you, but you don't want him to be around the bush. You got mad. Say, be straight up with me.
Yeah.
So my question is to you, like, has your friendships ever gotten in the way of creating your music and art to the highest levels that it could have been?
Yeah.
Or has it only amplified your art?
I think it's only amplified in a way because, so the funny thing is that Dustin he'll tell you as well. Like, we have this thing in Indie Tribe whenever we get together. It's no longer a thing now because God has matured us. But before, whenever we get together for Holy Smoke Fest, for Indie Tribe Week, content weeks that we have, there's always gonna be a Mykael and John fight or argument.
Really?
Oh, like inevitable. Like, so for Holy Smoke Fest, whenever we're together for a long time, Indie Tribe Week, content weeks, show days, there's always gonna be a inevitable John Keith and Mykael fight. We've grown from that now, so it doesn't happen at all because we had a really big one that happened. But prior to that, it was like we will always get into it because we're the same personality. But not once has that ever gotten into like our friendship in the way that we can't reconcile or like be cool or it not be awkward. Like, we're just like, oh, yeah, all right, I love you. Cool, we're good.
How long does it take for it to, like, blow over? Or does someone need to say something to another? Like, how does that dynamic work? Does someone need to go up to the other person and be like, are we good? Or is it kind of just
I'm
blow
usually
over?
somebody that I 7 out of 10 times, I'll be like, yo, can we talk? Because I get kind of convicted because I don't like acting in that way sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'll be the one that approaches.
But is it after, like, some time's gone by?
Yeah,
or?
for sure. Because I'm somebody, like, when I get into conflict, if I get to a point where I feel like I can't effectively communicate, I remove myself. Okay. So I can, like, calm down, and then I'll come back to the situation when I have a clear head. But, yeah, with Indie Tribe, it's never affected the way we create. The guys will come in and be, like, mediators, and we'll just keep pushing. Like, because we love each other more than an argument, you know? Like, this isn't like, we're not just friends because we make music together. Like, we're brothers, and we make music together. So it happens. Like, we're...
Yeah. I love that because a lot of people, what they do, like the documentary, right? This is actually an argument that I just had with the last interview I did with the priest, Father Andrew, where we're talking about the legitimacy of disciples. We're like, how can we know the disciples weren't being biased? And he made a really good point, and I also read this in Apologetics, where they were saying if the disciples were being biased, they would have left out all the parts where they looked bad in the Bible. Yeah. And so that's how we know, gives us a good sense they were legitimate about the stories that they were telling. Yeah. With you guys, you leave the ugly in the documentaries. So that's how I know there's legitimacy, and when you speak to me, because you guys leave the ugly sides in too, which is cool because it humanizes you and it shows you how things are really done behind the scenes. It's not this polished piece of work where you're like, we're up here, but in reality, you're right here. You're not down there. You're still up, but you're not as high as you're claiming to be, which is beautiful. What I also think is beautiful about Christian hip hop is that, I mean, if you look at any religion, maybe I'm very wrong because I didn't do enough research on this. I think I do enough research.
Talk.
How come Christian hip hop, like, is the only religious niche in music industry? Like, I never heard of Muslim hip hop.
Hip is crazy.
Hip, yeah, hooray.
Hindu
hop.
Hindu hop is crazy.
You don't hear any of this stuff. It was just Christians have built a niche in this industry. Like, why do you think Christians did that?
I couldn't tell you, bro. I wish I knew. I wish I had some philosophical answer for you. I really don't. I'm assuming that there was a need in the space of secular that they wanted to categorize themselves outwardly and specifically, that they did that. Because people like Creed, they're a Christian band. but they're in the mainstream and they don't do Christian music. People like what's that song? We were meant to live for so much more. Switchfoot. They're like a Christian band, but they're like in the mainstream. Like there's a lot of people that
Imagine
are like
Dragons too, right? They're Mormons. They don't
like there's people that are like mainstream.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I don't know why they did that. That's crazy. I always think about that. But I know that we make the best music.
So what are you trying to achieve in this niche of music?
I'm just trying to push it forward, bro. Where is progressed from where I was when I came in to where it is now. And I just want to continue to pass the torch to other people, other DJs, other rappers, other people to continue to use this art form to just really, bro, change people's lives. Like I was changed by Christian hip hop, like by people like Thizzle, people like R. Swift, people like Tragic Hero, people like We Live as Kings, people like Dream Junkies, people like Lecrae and Andy and Tadashi and Trip Lee and KB. Like all of their faithfulness has led to me being in this, and now I'm side by side with them, carrying that torch and that flag as well. You know.
Mm. Does it frustrate you that Christians are like all or nothing? So, for example, it's like if you even steer away from the Christian music you've been making,
it's annoying, bro.
They go crazy, saying like you're not a real Christian, you don't believe, you just been blah blah blah. It's all or nothing.
It's annoying. No, it's very annoying actually.
So it frustrates
you. Yeah, it frustrates the hell out of me because it's just like people can't think for themselves sometimes. They just regurgitate things that they know and feel. They can't like, and it's just like that's one thing that certain sects of Christianity I don't like. They just regurgitate things, and it's like, yo, you can't celebrate Christmas because it's this or it's that,
Christians
or yo,
that.
did you know that Halloween? And it's like
it's
like every year, like clockwork, the same arguments are happening, and I'm like, yo, y'all are worried about the wrong things, bro. Like y'all are worried about outward, like how things look, and not like the inward change of people's hearts and stuff like that.
Right.
So whenever somebody like veers off in a way that isn't contradictory to the gospel or sinful, and people like freak out, I'm like, bro, like why can't we just be normal? Like we're normal. Like just because we're not labeling it Christian music doesn't mean that it's wrong or it shouldn't still be looked at. It's like, no, now we're bringing what we're doing in Christ to the mainstream, or like we're bringing it to an area that doesn't really have Christ. Like, why would you not be happy for that? It's like whenever somebody becomes successful, success automatically means like Satan and the enemy, and God's not in this no more because you're so successful, and that you've abandoned all things Christ. And it's like in some cases, bro, that is true. Like I've seen and know of people that are Christian that have gotten to a certain level and have like succumbed to what success is and don't believe what we believe and put on a mask to do music because they're in too deep. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've seen people that are in Christian music that have veered off completely and that started off in Christian hip hop. And it's like there are like reasons for people to be upset because again, this goes back to they value you at a high rate, and if you go move any kind of way, they'll be mad at you. That's why I'm just like, I told you I keep everything even keel, and I'm me 100% of the time. So if I do something that you don't like, I don't care because I'm being true to myself, not being true to what you want me to be.
Most artists don't change in their styles or take chances out of fear of potentially losing the fans that they developed that got them those fans in the first place. Yeah, right. Yeah. So would you ever like dabble, because like you're not really your typical CHH artist, because like in your songs it's not like praise Jesus, all these, it's just like maybe you'll drop some fire bars here and there that relates back to Christ's teachings, but it's not like preachy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you're kind of teeter-totting. In my opinion, I listen to a lot of secular music, brother. Yeah. Like like I told you, I don't know that many Christian hip hop artists. Yeah. I just got into it.
Lovely.
And so it sounds like to me like you're right on the fence of like secular or Christian.
Yeah.
So if you like want to take your music to the next level, do you have to pick a side, or like do you stay on that fence?
I try to stay on the fence, bro. Yeah, I don't play the fence intentionally. I'm more of somebody like, I don't like Jesus Christ is Lord. Like that's not the kind of music that I listen to.
Right.
So at the end of the day, when I'm creating, I'm like, what music can I make that I would listen to? Because if nobody listens to it, at least I like it. You know what I'm saying? So I make that kind of music because my life like stuff like this. When you watch, if you're a fan of me and you're like, what is Mykael? And you watch this podcast and you see the way I'm speaking and how Christ is in my speech and what I'm doing, it's like, oh, he's a Christian. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for
By
me,
example, yeah.
like, so for me, I don't overcompensate in my music to like make people think I'm Christian. I'm not saying anybody that does that is overcompensating.
Yeah.
That's not true. But I'm saying, like, for me, that's not my shtick. That's not what I do. Like, my life is what speaks the gospel. How I walk is what speaks the gospel. And I make music out of high quality, high art, and I make it out of the worldview of a Christian man. And I do it towards God, for the betterment of the kingdom, and for the joy of others. And if that feels like teetering to people, don't care.
Has your music ever been misunderstood?
Not really. I have people, like what you just said, people have told me, they're like, yo, like if you just want carefree, like Christian music, like listen to Mykael. And at first I got offended because I'm like, carefree?
Yeah, like what does that mean?
But then I was like, oh wait, no, like, because I'm not lyrical, spiritual, individual. I'm not tackling tough topics. Like, I'm just more like, I'm making good music for you to listen to have an alternative.
Right.
Like, you don't have to listen to this. You can listen to this.
I'm not trying to tell you how to do your
for sure.
art, but I'm super curious. Like, why don't you have more lyrics in your songs, man?
Like me
Yeah,
rap?
yeah.
I'm not a rapper, bro.
But like, why not like drop some
Like
few
just drop
more
like
lines here and there?
Oh yeah,
like
I've
a hook.
been thinking about it, bro. I never want things to be about me ultimately, like in a way. So I'm just very much like, that's.
But I feel like it will tie you in more into your art.
No, 100%. So it's crazy because we on the new Indie Chart project, we put some things in for me to be more prominent in that way.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, so we're trying for sure,
Okay.
bro. I think that there's ways that we can do it, and now that you said that, it gives me confidence to like be able to feel like I can do more.
Because when I hear you coming on those songs, I was like, okay, he's the hype man.
Yeah,
he gets the hype going. But I was like, I want to hear him throughout the song too, because like when you hear like 3 or 4 different voices pop in, it's like, okay, who did I just hear last? Like sometimes like that. But it's like, I want to keep being reminded you're on these tracks.
Yeah,
that's
for
the
sure.
thing.
Yeah. No, thank you for that, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember what people used to call J. Cole back in like 2013, 2014?
No, I don't.
They used to call him a woke rapper. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that was 10, 11 years ago, back when woke meant something different.
Yeah.
You know, and like that meant like you're aware of like the way life is and like you're spiritually deep and like you have this wisdom. People clown J. Cole for being a woke rapper. They were saying like he's corny,
the world, man.
Always has like, we don't want to hear like the wisdom. We want to just hear the club beats, boom bats. Yeah. And then Big Crit has a song actually with Lupe Fiasco called Lost Generation.
2 goats.
Where he says, they ain't listening to us. They ain't playing this in the club. So let's get paid. So he was being sarcastic. He was saying, they ain't listening to us. We're being too deep right now. Yeah. So I noticed that a lot of guys in that sphere, when they're trying to drop wisdom, the world doesn't want to hear that. Right?
Yeah. No, for sure, bro. I mean, bro, you got to understand, like, and that's why, like, this is a whole nother tangent. Like, that's why when things go wrong in the world and Christians freak out, it pisses me off even more. Because I'm like, bro, we live in the world. Like, the world is acting like the world. Like, we're supposed to be changers and enactors of God's peace in the world. Like, so like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not, it sounds so corny when I say this out loud, but like, this is not our home. So it's like, we're supposed to like change things while we're here. Yeah. A lot of people have this thought process of like, no, this is our home and we're gonna change it. Like, and it's like, bro, Christ is bringing heaven down. Like, and that's gonna change it. While we're here, the world is gonna be the world, my brother. So when people are like, yo, J. Cole's a woke rapper, I don't want to listen to that. I want to go party. And it's like, bro, people don't want to be forced to think. They just want to be zombies. They want to just walk through life and not have to really deal with their emotions or have to deal with things, because life is hard as it is. So it's like with certain rappers and stuff like that, people don't want to listen to that because that's like, they don't want to be forced to think about that. They want mindless music they can just kind of party to or like listen to like without having to think. You know what I'm saying? Because when you hear those rappers like a Big Crit, a Lupe, J. Cole, like people that are like that, like Public Enemy, all these people that are like just kind of woke in that way that speak about these things, it's like people don't want to listen to that naturally because they don't want to be forced to think or feel heaviness because life is heavy as it is. Right. So they just want to listen to like lighthearted things or just stupid stuff that they indulge in because it makes them feel good.
Everything you said is actually biblical. In Ecclesiastes, which is the book in the Old Testament that got me to even start reading my Bible.
I love Ecclesiastes.
It's the book of
The
wisdom.
older I get, the more I love that book.
Yeah, and it says in that book, the fool goes to the house of mirth, but the wise go to the house of mourning. And I actually gave a Bible study to my youth a few months back about it, where I was explaining to them, if you read between the lines, why is the house of mirth, which means the place of fun, entertainment, right? You're in a constant state of fun and entertainment. Well, you're being numbed. Yeah. So there's no reason to change if you feel as if there's nothing to change. You're in a constant state of enjoyment. You feel comfortable. You're numb to the realities of life. Yep. So, but the house of mourning, as in, like, let's say you go pay respects to a person who just passed away. You go to their house. I'm sorry for your loss. All these things.
You're forced to feel.
You're forced to feel, and not only you, but you watch how other people are feeling, which not only makes you more human, but also makes you more wise because you start to be self-reflective and you start thinking more about how you want to live your life as a man, how you want to take care of your family, leave a legacy. All these things are actually important and not of the world where it's like, let me drive the nice cars, wear the nice watches, this, that, and the third. So yeah, what you said is very biblical. I want to take a break. Tom, can you give me the box, please?
Oh shit!
We got you something.
He's about to pull out a Russian roulette live on camera.
What was that, the Joker movie? Where it just like pops his brain?
Hey, Mykael, thanks for the interview. Bam!
That'll go viral.
No, it will go viral, and then you also go to jail.
I heard.
Oh, what is about to happen right now, bro? I'm not good at receiving gifts.
Listen to me. Thank you for coming out here. You literally flew in for this, and you're gonna leave at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Yes, bro. I heard you're a Knicks fan, and so I just got you something slight.
What is this, bro?
The front lid pops open. It's a magnet,
bro. Whatever I'm about to open, I'm thankful for. I just want you to know. But right now, I'm getting teary-eyed. I don't know what this is. This is crazy. Wow. Oh!
I got you. Signed Jalen Brunson jersey.
Bro! Dog. Bro.
I appreciate you a lot, man.
Bro.
Thank you for coming out.
I'm never going to wear this. I'm definitely going to get this framed.
That's what I was hoping, yeah.
Dog.
Bro, I heard you're a Knicks fan.
Dang, you stand up, bro. Let me get you a hug. That's crazy, man. My man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, bro. Thank you for coming out. That's insane, really appreciate you. This guy's rich. This probably costs like $300. Bro, this is insane.
I actually want to play a game with you.
Oh, man.
This is the lazy intellectual card game.
This is like the Joker. You want to play a game. Like, this is, and I'm going to lose.
And basically, it's what we've been doing already. It's just a question and answer kind of thing. But I developed this card game. It was actually my mom's idea. I got to give her credit on camera. I keep saying it was my idea.
What's your mom's name again?
Anna.
Anna.
Yeah.
Anna, okay.
It's questions I normally wouldn't ask on a typical interview.
For sure.
But so it's questions that a lot of people are curious about in their minds, especially when they want to meet and get to know a person. So I always say this is fun to bring on a date. It's fun to, like, if you want to get to know someone.
Stuff like this.
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I would like you to pull a card, answer it truthfully, and then after that, give me a question. That's going to be called the Mykael V card, and it's going to go in our expansion pack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Expansion pack, like it's DLCs for Call of Duty.
Yes, sir.
All right. Right there. Okay. What ethical or existential issue resonates most deeply with you? And how do you actively engage in dialogue or action to address it with the people in your life? Why should others care?
If you need a minute, think about it. It's pretty deep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty long question. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Deepest
Whoever did this you suck.
I did everything.
That is so deep, dog. Because you know what's crazy? In the Any Tribe group chat, they talk about stuff like this all day.
Existentialism?
No, like they talk about like crazy stuff. Like it's insane. I think for me, I don't have what's an excess. Like, give me an example. Like world hunger.
Something like that. Yeah.
Like an existential issue. Bro, I think we should ask a different question because you're gonna laugh when I say this.
Okay.
Like my faith and how I am, I don't really question God. So like in the sense of like if somebody dies from cancer, I'm upset, but I'm like, God, you know best. And I'm actually okay with that answer.
That's biblical too.
Like I'm like, all right, God, like, I'm pissed. This sucks.
Yeah.
But you know better than me. So I'm gonna let you rock. Like, for example, some of the guys in the group chat when we were going through Job, the book of Job, they were like, some of them are really hung up on, yo, why would God respond to Job the way that God did? And they were like really wrestling with that. Like, why would a loving God be so demeaning and passive in his response towards Job? And they're like going through it. Like, and I'm like,
what's the consensus? Why do they?
They were just like, yo, it's hard for me to think that God is a loving God when he's being so like nonchalant and like talking to Job like whatever. And me, I'm like, bro, God is God. Like, if I had a kid and my kid was questioning me and I was like, bro, were you around when I made the stars? Do I have to ask you permission to make the earth? Like, what? No, get out of here. You're my son. I love you. Like, why are you questioning me? I am okay with that answer. The guys are not okay with that. They're like, yo, why would God be so hurt? Like, I'm like, bro, God said what God said, and I'm okay with that.
Is that a personality trait that you have that other people don't?
I think so, bro.
It is a personality
trait.
Like,
I think like the more that I get to know people that are like more like intellectual about certain things, I notice that they question God a lot more on things. And I'm more of a person like, yo, God, like I believe what God said, and then that's it. I don't have like a wrestle with God. Why would you do this? I'm like, all right, God, like you did it because you're God. I'm human.
That's the book of Revelations, man, where they were talking about how all of the angels and the elder leaders and the vision that John was having in heaven, where they said the earth will essentially be destroyed and engulfed in flames. And they all bowed down and said, yes, because that is the way that the will of the Lord shall be done. They just accepted it right away. In my mind, I was just like, the earth's going to be destroyed in flames. I'm like, what? Like, I felt the type of way. But then the angels were there to represent that everything that God does, even though we don't understand it, is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I pick another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's wait for this damn plane to come.
That's like the wrong one for me. All right. It's the same card I mentioned. Is it ever justifiable to sacrifice individual rights for the greater good? If so, under what circumstance? You're going crazy. Is it ever justifiable to sacrifice individual rights? I need an example.
Someone's freedom for the greater good of humanity. So, like, throw in one person in prison to free 100, even though that one person is innocent. Something like that.
Oh, is it justifiable?
To free 100 innocent people who are locked up for no reason.
So lock up one innocent person to free a whole bunch of others?
Yeah.
I think that's true justice, yeah. I mean,
even if that person does it again, they don't want to be the sacrificial
if they don't want to be, that's a little different. But like, I don't know. I think for me, justice is more like the right thing being done. But if it's for the greater good, this is like a Thanos level question.
This is like a Batman.
Would you? Yeah, like no, this is Thanos. Yeah. Like, would you kill half the universe to know that the universe would survive?
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Thanos have a point? Oh, you're asking me that?
Yeah, I'm asking you like the Thanos question.
I think he was way off though.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I don't think he was right. I think he was just like, why do you think there's a limitation to the universe and the resources? Like, if the universe is so expansive and we're gonna cut this out. But the BS of like the multiverse, there's just more universes to get shit from. Like the concept.
Now we're talking that nerd shit.
The concept of the multiverse just kills itself.
Yeah. Individual rights.
Talk to me.
I'm trying to think.
Talk to me nice.
Do I think that's justice? I mean that's the crucifixion. Like God,
okay.
Yeah. That's crucifixion. It's like, all right, like Jesus was perfect, lived the perfect life.
Yeah.
Sinless lamb was sacrificed for all of our sins that we did do, and he was put on an innocent man. Do I think that's justice? No. I mean, I think it's justice in the sense of like that justice must be carried out, but on who is a little bit shaky for me. But I think that's loving. I think that's like something that is admirable, and that how we should live our life in a way.
That's interesting. Yeah, it is. I don't think that is justice what Jesus did. I think it was unfair what they did to him.
Yeah, like it's unfair in the sense of like God didn't do anything.
Right.
Yet he died.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like in a court of justice, he was deemed
innocent.
He was deemed guilty, but he was innocent. So that's not real justice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
but even the judge, Pontius Pilate, said, "I see no fault in this man.
Exactly.
This man did no wrong." So they even acknowledged that.
Yeah.
So what question do you have for me to add in this game?
You
don't have to be like super deep with it.
Nah, I'm not, because looking at how deep these questions are, I want to give somebody a good, easy question. You know what, bro? This is a question that my therapist asked me.
Okay.
And this is a question that has made me cry a lot. And has made me think a lot. And it is, if you had the opportunity to talk to your younger self, what would your younger self think of you? And what would you tell your younger self?
Why did that make you cry?
Because, bro, I was bullied a lot. I was abused growing up, and I'm successful by people's eyes. And I look at my younger self, and I'm like, man, I wish you knew that everything that happened to you, has made you into who you are, which is an amazing, loving person, and we become successful. It's you know what I'm saying? It makes me cry because I'm just like, man, also, bro, having to tell my younger self that my grandmother passed away, would destroy me. It's just crazy. But to think of how much life I've lived, to talk to my younger self, because you ever think about talking to a kid, and then but the kid is you now, and it's like, hey, yo, I gotta tell you something, so and so passed away, and hey, we also these things, you're gonna go through a lot of hurt, but it's gonna be worth it. That makes me emotional, bro. I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
What would your younger self say if he saw you right now?
He'd be like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, bro, it is cool, but this is crazy.
Nice. I love that.
I love you, man.
I love you too, brother.
This is the George Janko Show, guys.
I'm so curious about this.
Talk to me, bro.
My favorite rapper right now.
I'm not gay, bro. I told you.
I believe you. But this next one might be. My favorite rapper right now is Slim Shady.
Eminem?
Okay. Eminem.
I'm not mad at you. That's like a very
Yeah. I
based,
love Eminem.
That's based.
I'm going back to OG Eminem. This new Eminem.
Oh, you're super based.
I'm not feeling the new Eminem the last 5
I feel
years.
you, bro. Yeah, I wish Mowgli was here. Mowgli would talk your ear off about Eminem.
I love Slim Shady, bro.
Yeah,
the
same.
OG Slim Shady.
Yeah, Marshall Mathers.
There's a side to Slim Shady where it's just you live vicariously through him, especially when you live this quote unquote goody two shoe lifestyle where you're locked in the square lifestyle of being a Christian, where it's just it's the rebellious side where it's just you don't care what anyone says, thinks or does. I'm so curious. Do you think there could ever be a Christian version of Slim Shady?
Oh, I don't know, bro, because he used to talk about locking his girlfriend in the car and killing her and beating her.
Right. That was that's the PG stuff he said.
Yeah, I don't know if there could be, bro. When I think of Christian version of Eminem, maybe flow wise, maybe flow and approach for sure. There's a whole bunch of Eminem clones in CHH.
Yeah.
But I don't think subject matter wise there could be, not at all.
Right. It's just
bro, because even I'll even raise you one. Even Christian R&B is kind of I not Christian R&B, but I think that there's certain things and topics that some Christians really can't handle.
Like what?
There was this album called School of Roses by an artist named Kriston Gray. To me, top 10 CHH album of all time. Great.
Okay. Top
to bottom. And in that album, he was married at the time, and he talks about cheating on his wife. He talks about the desire to cheat and how he fights it.
But is he saying it in a real perspective, or he's promoting it?
No, he's not promoting it. He's this is what I'm going through.
So what's wrong with that?
And then a lot of people were like, yo, what's going on right now? Because he was being super honest, which is great. Right. I love that.
Yeah.
But how you say how people in Christian fans that get flustered, they didn't like that. So I'm I don't even know if you could have that kind of transparency in Christian hip hop.
But then at that point, it's do you want a person who's acting a certain way and they're fake, or do you want an authentic person who's a true believer of Christ, but they're struggling with something?
They want
the fake.
Yes, bro. You not look at Christian TikTok. They want that. They want you know what I'm saying. They want what looks and feels Christian. Don't say, oh my God, or don't celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
Don't celebrate Halloween. You're a good Christian. It's a works and acts based thing.
Yeah.
And not a real heart change, a heart thing.
Right.
And that's why I don't really dive into those pools, because I'm you could be successful in the super Christian spheres, but I don't want to be successful if that means I have to water myself down.
I got you. So why do you think rather that creative people think of death more often than non-creative people?
I know I do, bro. I can speak for myself. I know I do. I think of death often.
I do too.
But not in a suicidal way. I think death is beautiful, bro. I think death is so complex yet so beautiful. I talked about this on Creative Control. That movie Avatar 2 helped me contextualize a lot of how death is and how from dust we came, from dust we will return, and how beautiful that is about how we're able to live on this earth and have a mission and have people and flocks of shepherds of people that we're able to impact. And when we are done our assignment, we're able to go back home and we're able to return to where we are. And that helps me understand that this life that I chase things in is not permanent, and it will pass away, and I will pass away, and I'm only here for a little bit of time. So when I think about death, it helps me to understand that things in this world and what I'm doing are passing away, and what impact can I leave the most on
I think
people.
Someone said it on your, I think it was Bodega 1, but I think it might have been Bodega 2. They said you're just a blimp on a radar.
Yeah. No,
Who said that? Do you remember?
I think it was Tragic Hero. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure.
But yeah, it's like when I've been thinking of your song. I've been thinking about that verse, blimp on a radar.
Yeah.
Referring to life. You're there for a second, and then
You're
next
gone,
time
bro.
the scanner comes around.
But when you think about that, it's like, all right, what impact do I want to leave?
Right.
Like, what do I when I die? What do I want people to say about me? That I look cool or that I change their life? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, yeah. And bro, and you know, in some monasteries, that there are people that when they pray, like some of the priests and the friars and the monks, when they pray, they have I forget what it is. It's 3 things, but I know one of them is a skull, a human skull, and they pray and they look at it because they want to be reminded of the reality of death, that their time is limited.
He's very stoic.
Yeah, and their time is limited, and they want to be impactful with their time here on earth, and seeing that skull is a reminder to them.
Yeah, memento mori is what the Stoics say, the memorial of death.
Yeah.
That your day will come. Even death, going back to Ecclesiastes, actually, it's actually biblical to think of death as providing wisdom, because in Ecclesiastes it says, again, the wise go to the house of mourning, makes you reflect on yourself, and it says that wisdom gives life to those who have it. So if wisdom gives life, and then life inevitably leads to death, that means death then will give wisdom to someone else. So your death will give wisdom to someone else.
Yep.
But on our time that we're here, our life needs to be inspired that those that have passed, they give us wisdom, in the cycle. It's just a cycle, man.
You're just pushing everything forward.
Yeah, it's just a cycle. You're just part of this big chain, and you want to make sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like when people like Michael Jackson and Prince, so you think these larger than life people, we forget about them 10, 15 years down the line.
Yeah.
We'll remember them because of the things they've done, but like the popularity that they once had, they don't have no more.
Right.
Or like even people that are lesser than them, we forget about them, bro. And all they did was spend their life obsessing over people remembering them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if we spend that same obsessiveness and time on how we can change people around us and change our communities, that'd be a way better impact than things like that.
You and I are very similar because we both get inspired from movies. We appreciate the cinematography.
Big movie guy.
As you can tell by the set, I'm very inspired by cinematic shots, inspiration, stuff like that. So I try to implement those things into the podcast now. What's like some of the greatest like cinematic inspirations you've drawn from?
Bro, I love Spike Lee. Spike Lee is one of my favorite directors. He is from Brooklyn by way of Atlanta. He is somebody that represents New York culture, and the movies that he makes are staples of their time. They speak on the social constructs of life and life in the hood, life in the projects, and just how I grew up. So I relate heavy to them, heavy. And he also puts people on, like people like Samuel L. Jackson, people like Rosie Perez. And like all these people that were started off in kind of his movies first.
Yeah.
That I love that collaborative aspect. I also love Christopher Nolan. I love me some Inception. One of my favorite movies. Interstellar is like one of my top 3 favorite movies. I love stuff like that. Interstellar is one of my favorite movies. Makes you cry every time I watch it.
It's a deep movie.
Bro, it's so good, man.
There's a verse in that movie, or a line rather, script line, where he says the wife is talking to Matthew McConaughey's character, and she goes, referring to their kids, we're just memories to them.
Yep.
That's all parents are.
Yep.
I was like, dang.
Rough. Puts it in check though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
all
good.
you are is memories to your kids.
Yeah. All you are is memories to anybody outside of yourself. Yeah.
Is there parallels that you take from movies that inspire your music?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Like sometimes I watch movies and I'm like, man, this is a great concept. Like, have you seen the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No.
One of my favorite movies from 2023 or 24.
Okay.
No, 2023 or 2022. Anyway, great movie. Starring Ke Huy Quan, the dude from Indiana Jones, and it's so good, and it speaks about how, like, life, like just how to take life as it is and to never think about what you didn't have or what you won't have or what you could have had, and just enjoying the moment where you're at now and knowing that the present is the best outcome that could ever happen. Because if you're present, then you're able to enjoy these things. When you're constantly thinking about things from the other side or things you could have done, you're never enjoying the moment. You're constantly looking at the next thing and you're neglecting the things around you because you're thinking about other things.
Right, yeah.
Such a good movie.
That's amazing message, man. If you're in the future also, you're going to be more anxious. If you're in the past, you're depressed, the old saying.
Yep.
What's your favorite song that you've ever produced, bro? Or created, wrote up, helped work on? What's your favorite piece of art you've ever created?
I love Tribe on the Move, man. I feel like that encapsulates so much of my story and my love for hip hop, my friendships.
Yeah.
Like the Tribe is on it. It feels like a perfect chef's kiss to my friendships, to my music taste, to the way I grew up, to where I'm from. It just feels like a collective like bow on what I do.
You know what's funny? When my dad asked, he was like, "Who's coming over to the house?" I showed him that music video, Tribe on the Move, with you guys all under that halo above your head.
Yeah.
It was a sick music. But that was the first video I showed my dad.
I love it. Did you like it?
He liked it.
You're lying.
And my dad doesn't like rap music.
He's lying.
My dad doesn't like rap music at all.
Yeah, he didn't like mine.
Hey, Mykael, besides the fact that I know that you're an OG anime DBZ fan, you got blurry vision, and you toured with Dude Perfect. That's all I got for you, bro.
Take that, George Janko.
Thank you so much for your time, bro.
Bro, thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
Honored to be here, bro.
Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we wrap?
Nah, not right now. Go listen to Bodega 2 and now Lazy Intellectuals.
From the pew?
Let's
awesome,
get it,
man.
Fire.
Thank you, bro.
You made me cry, bro. That was crazy.
That was the goal.
Hope everybody's hungry.